heart, always close at heart.
Always, always,
Wow,
always.
y'all sang that. Y'all
Did
sang
they?
that.
Thank you. They appreciate that.
Did
Thank
they
you,
do
baby
it?
girl.
I think we need to start a sports shop choir. You two are our lead.
Yeah,
Sports
well,
choir. Yeah.
Well, one of them gonna always try to take over Dr. Stroman, so we're gonna have to referee.
Excellent.
It's always that's always the case.
Oh yeah.
I know we're talking about the drafts. We're talking about what's going on with football, but it is basketball season for the NBA. Did anybody watch that first game with Grizzlies and Memphis?
Yes.
Yes. And what
Grizzlies
the
and
NBA
Warriors.
announced is that there were some errors that were made.
Warriors. Yep.
Various decisions by the refs. They were the topic of conversation during the game, after the game, and the next day. And the NBA confirmed that they have a last 2-minute report, and that they flagged 4 plays that were incorrect. Now, 2 benefited the Warriors and 2 benefited the Grizzlies, but there were some that made us think like, wow, how do these guys get to be NBA refs?
Right.
So I think what we want to talk about is what does it take to be an NBA ref? And maybe people will think about these requirements and say, well, let's give these men and women a break. First off, to be an NBA ref, number one, you're an official with the NBA, okay? They work through the preseason, regular season, and playoff. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to list some of the specific examples of what refs do. Obviously, you have to make calls quickly based on, violations that they appear to see happen. You initiate the timeouts. You've got to learn your hand signals. You got to run, and you've got to backpedal, right? You've got to work as a teammate with the other referees. And how about when we get frustrated watching them looking at the video footage? You have to be able to look at the video and be able to put that in real time, and then think about all your rules knowledge and whether or not you're going to approve a call or deny a call. You definitely have to be professional at all times, even though we've seen referees kind of give certain looks or be real bold and trying to draw attention to themselves. I don't know if they really mean that, but you definitely have some more demonstrative referees out there. Think about the travel. You've got to do car, plane. I was just talking to a friend the other day about coming to Costa Rica, and they said they don't do airplanes. Well, if you're a referee, you have to rule out if you don't ever get on an airplane for whatever reason, then you have to rule out being a referee in a career. The late nights that you work or the weekends, we talk about staying up late to watch these basketball games. Well, they're just like the players. They probably don't get home for another 2 hours after the game. You have to have a certain personality to be calm, to explain your reasoning, right, for issuing a violation or for penalties. And then you've got to think about the clock and the scoreboard, right, watching that while you're watching what's taking place. You have to make sure that the scorekeepers are entering the right points or fouls. And then lastly, and we saw a famous mess up with the Super Bowl with the coin toss or the jump ball event at the beginning of each game to determine who gets the first ball or whatever. So there's a lot. So how do you become a referee? Now, there's 2 ways, basically. One, you get scouted. You just might be an awesome referee at the college level, and then somebody's watching you. And as we've talked about, remember that you're always being watched as a professional, regardless of what field you're in. And then the second way, of course, is to work your way up. And you have to do that through different basketball leagues. Some people don't know, but you have to have a high school diploma or a GED. That's the minimum education requirement.
Oh, wow.
And minimum. And considering all these different skills, I'd imagine most of them do have a master's degree. You need to work as a referee in youth basketball, and then you register to do it in high school. And in high school, typically in most areas, you have to have a background check and you complete an interview. So it's not as simple as just walking out there with your whistle because your child, played sports. Then you need to go through the NCAA. And then now we're talking about a resume, a cover letter, video clips of your skills. You'll probably have to have it in person, of course, and then they're going to test your knowledge and do a background check. Then how do you make it to the next league, the NBA? Then you need to work the G League. That's the minor league for the NBA. They hold referee tryouts. I have friends who called me about different tryouts, saying they were going to be in my area. They want to try to get on to the next level. And this is typically for people who are really qualified. and you basically get selected from this pool based on your expertise. And then once you start in the G League, then you've got to demonstrate how good you are. You've got to prioritize teamwork. You've got to definitely be on top of your game, pun intended. And then you have to be willing to substitute to fill in vacancies for important games. So this might mean an upheaval with your family life or your social life, because you got to go referee a game.
Interesting.
And of course, when you're at the G League level, everybody knows you want to go to the next level. And so this is about recommendations. And as I tell my students, it's not what you know, it's not who you know. It's who knows you on a favorable basis. So this is where you have to be squeaky clean after the game or during the weekends. You can't be hanging out at the bar, drinking too much and stumbling and falling, because people are watching you and they're talking about whether or not you would be an asset to their community. The last thing I'll mention are some of the other skills that NBA refs can benefit from. And I talked about the physical stamina. Can you run and can you backpedal? Can you lean over? Can you see your feet, from leaning over, right? Yes, I'm talking about the big guy. Okay. You have to stand for a long period of time, all right? That's why some of these guys and women look really, really cut, because they have to stay in the gym and work out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You need patience. You got to calm people down, an upset player or a coach. The communication skills, because you have to speak differently to a player, to a coach, or another official, right? You have to be an expert with the basketball rules, the offensive, and certainly hand signals. When the hand goes up, when it goes down. I started watching when a player is shooting a free throw, how the referees throw the ball to the free throw shooter. I know when I did some refereeing, I like to do the one-handed bounce pass, but I noticed everybody does this very interesting, like a two-handed kind of baby chest pass that bounces up. So anyway, obviously that's being structured and guided. And then you have to be unbiased and fair, having that perspective for both teams. Now, this is where, of course, we have a famous saying for those, like for me before Carolina, we always scream out, Carolina ref, because Tar Heels seem to always get the calls. And then, of course, just the ability to focus when there's lots of distractions, and then having attention to detail. You got to catch the minor details for fouls and other offenses. Now, is it all worth it? Nobody knows for sure, but the projections are that an NBA ref makes between $200,000 and $500,000 per year.
That's right.
So some people would say it was worth it. So that's my take on referees, and I ask you all, would you consider it? Do you know people who referee? Maybe we shouldn't be so tough on them.
Well, let me jump in right now. We're talking to Dr. Deborah Stroman, who's reporting live from Costa Rica. Thank you for your segment. Gregory R. Williams was a NBA referee / NBA referee, definitely in the G League. I seen him many times working the NBA All-Star game, and that's a little tidbit that people don't know. Mm-hmm. And my esteemed colleague over here to the left was a referee over in Europe, by the way. Dr. Stroman, Kmac was a referee.
I was a referee. The farthest I made it up was FIBA, but it was an interesting experience. I didn't do it when I came back to the States because it is a lot more rigorous in the States. Essentially, you get hazed. Here
more.
Yeah. You got to work your way up.
I'm gonna stop somebody about that.
Yeah, you got to work your way up, man. You work a lot of not fun, not glamorous assignments. A lot of them. I mean, a lot. That $500,000, they look cool and sexy, but you done worked a lot of little league this. You worked a lot of stuff to work your way up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Kmac, I didn't mention this, but were you ever attacked by fans or bullied or cursed out?
Yeah, I mean, European basketball, they definitely
it's different. Yeah,
they take it a lot more serious. That the first, what was most shocking to me is the rules about wearing your uniform, right, and being identified. How you can't. They don't want you to be identified outside of the arena at all. They don't want you to be. Wow. They don't want people to get to you. They don't want people to be able to talk to you. I mean, they pick you up. The league officials pick you up. You go from your hotel straight to the arena. You go from the arena back to your hotel and back on your plane, train, or wherever you're going. That's it. They don't want.
Oh wow.
That might be the gambling aspect.
Yeah, they don't want you around at all. They don't want you around them at all. So So it's like it's really like that. Like a lot of times you see them come out shaking, coach's hands. But if it wasn't for the fact that they see them quite regularly, they've never talked to them guys before ever. They've never seen any of them players, anybody. But because in the league, you see them so much, they get a chance to talk to them a lot. But outside of that, you in, you change clothes, you out, you get in the van, and you out. That's it.
Very interesting.
Wow.
But once you make it though, it ain't too bad in life.
Right.
It ain't too bad in life once you make it. But it's a full-time. It truly is a full-time job though. Wow. And there's a lot. And Dr. Stroman, you didn't mention the part, but they do. As part of that trial, you're tested, so you have to pass the test as well as you get graded by your conference, by your league, wherever you are. You get graded by a group of lead officials, and depending on your grades, depend on what assignments you get, right? So that's more politics that's involved, but depending on your grade, where you are. So like you talked about that 2-hand chest pass. So that's a part of your grade, right? So you talked about how timely are you on your signals. That's part of your grade. Are you in position, out of position when a call is made? That's a part of your grade. Did you make the call from the wrong spot on the floor? That's a part of your grade. So a lot of people don't see that as a fan, but I see that. I'm like, he made that before he crossed the timeline. So I'm thinking, I know he's out of position. You can't make that call from there because according to the rules, you shouldn't be able to see that in the mechanics of the game. You're in the wrong position. So. And
that's tough because when you're calling with people who might not be as skilled as refs as you saw the call, but but the other person should have called it. I've been in situations like that, but you need to blow your whistle. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's a part of your crew. So your crew kind of understand, they get a feel, so you get a feel for the game, and your lead officials should kind of help set the tone for what the crew should be calling. But every now and then you get one that's all, he want to be on his own. He want to do extra stuff.
So interesting.
Make the rest of the team look bad. So,
is there a game limit per week? You can't do over X amount of games?
For the NBA, absolutely.
Yeah.
And with the players, we call it load maintenance.
Right.
It's the same thing. They're a team too. And so they have to balance it out. And then you're trying to develop refs because eventually some are going to retire. So you don't want all of these veterans who are really good and then a group that's very raw and like rookies. So you have to develop them and get their stamina up. Is that correct, Kmac?
Yep, that's exactly right. That is it. So then, but then you also get, the more seasoned guys, their schedule is already set. So really that middle tier, lower tier, all you're doing is filling in games for other guys going on vacation.
Gotcha.
You just feel it. But look, don't get me wrong. At $250 a clip annually, I can feel it all day. I can feel it all day if you need me to.
Let me go back.
But it's interesting. You think about all aspects of sport. They want to get the microphone. They want to improve their brand. They want to get out there. But the referees, you never hear them being interviewed. You never see them on talk shows or anything. And I think that speaks to the secretive nature around making sure that they stay unbiased. They keep an open perspective, and they avoid gambling. And I'm reminded of the 2007 NBA betting scandal with Tim Donaghy. Donaghy, remember that? Where he admitted that there was a lot of bias taking place and teams getting a hookup. And then we always think about how certain superstars, you want them to stay on the court. And so they might be a little bit more lenient. And I think that's the reality. Referees are human as well. But this refereeing is not as easy as we think, if anyone ever thought.
Yeah, we've had Tim Donaghy on this show a couple times.
Yeah.
Actually had him him and Rashid on here together because Tim Donaghy, when he wrote his book, he said he purposely went out to Rashid and he apologized to Rashid on this show a few years ago.
I was nervous about that. Reese would be all right though.
Yeah.
Reese assured you to be all right.
It was crazy.
I said, this ain't fun.
Yeah.
It was in person.
No.
Okay.
They were on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, right. But it happened. Yeah.
The other part is we don't think about the injuries. And when we see players fall into them, 200, 300-pound men. And then when you think about football referees, I can't remember the name of the referee who sits right over the ball on the defensive end. to make sure, the holding and all of that. That's a very dangerous position to be in. You can get your knee taken out. Yeah, line judge. There you go. It's really a lot. And, I'm happy to see women stepping in. We know we've had women referees. We definitely have a lot of men in women's sports refereeing. But we're seeing more women getting an opportunity to referee men's sports as well.
Yeah. Man, you guys, awesome. I know you got to go, Dr. Stroman. I'll ask you guys a question. All you guys think about it. As big as analytics is in sports today, right? As large as it is in way AI is taking off, and as prevalent as I would say these betting in these sports books have been as far as placing wagers. Why do you think you never see any wagers placed on if this referee's calling, if this crew's calling, this crew's calling? Here are the odds that put them to get this, or this.
I mean, that would taint the whole sport.
No.
My
first thought is illegal.
Yeah. So don't ever think there's not powers that be. Don't think they don't have the information.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Right.
They know that if this crew is calling, there'll be X amount of fouls, which leads to this, right? So they already know that they have an idea, but I don't think that information would ever come out.
No, never be public. No.
I would think the toughest thing also is because sports happen instantaneously, it will be hard to get the betting line up and running. Yeah. But what you could do it on is when you have those plays where they're going to the video to make the decision. That would be an opportune time because it takes a minute. It could take 5 minutes to make the call. And right then you could set a betting line. Which way will it go? That would be something I could see happening.
Oh, yeah,
hey, let's start a company on that.
Hey, I'm all in. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You know a lot of smart people in Virginia.
I know a few in North Carolina too.
Yeah, but you're not in North Carolina. You're in Costa Rica. You're in Costa Rica right now.
That's true.
All right, Dr. Stroman, we're going to let you go.
Everybody consider Race Realities poster. We've got one coming up in a few weeks, May 17th, and definitely October. Love to hear from you. Thanks again, Sports Shop. You all are the best.
Thank you.
You're the best.